Hi everyone, welcome to the Beached Club. I'm Sherilyn Korver. I'm an indie author and the author of the paranormal series Beached, which is set in the fictional upscale village of Bonfire Beach, South Carolina. I am, quote unquote, spending the summer in Bonfire Beach while I work on the third book in the series. And every Friday evening, I release a video sharing some fun behind the scenes backstory, some of my favorite characters and places around town, so my readers can feel like they're spending the weekend at the beach too. I also give updates on the progress of Book 3, as well as things I'm doing this summer, such as paranormal investigations and my 80s on the 8s Facebook series, and other things related to my collection of vintage 1980s young adult novels, and I do giveaways, so welcome aboard. If you enjoy this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. This weekend is the Beach Club's 5th weekend of the summer, but the first official weekend of the summer, which is pretty exciting and also pretty, wow, where is the time going? So I thought this would be the perfect weekend to introduce you to Hurricane Beach, which is the big summer resort beach town just down the coast from Bonfire Beach that's always hopping from Memorial Day to Labor Day. After that, I have updates regarding the new book and the beach series that I'm excited to share with you, and then we'll do this weekend's giveaways. Hurricane Beach, South Carolina. When I was creating the Beached World and first starting to write the series, I wanted to set it at the beach. I knew that much. I love the beach. I always wanted to live in a beach town. I always loved the energy of beach towns in the summer, with crowds of people all on vacation, not a care in the world. When you're growing up, it always feels like summer lasts forever, and summer was most definitely my season, so I really wanted to do that. I have memories of going on vacation with my family to the beach in the summer, and it just seems like this perfect encapsulation of life, if that makes any sense. All is right with the world. So because I write books that I hope people read as a way to escape the demands of real life, which isn't always fun, I wanted to incorporate that feeling that I remember from my childhood. Summertime at the beach cures all, or at least makes everything a little bit more bearable. At the same time, I knew that Bonfire Beach was not that place. Bonfire is a totally different type of escape from reality, so I needed to create another beach town that people would hopefully enjoy vacationing in, and that town, or city, should I say, is Hurricane Beach. I would love to be able to share how I came up with the name, but I honestly don't remember where it came from. I keep lists on my phone of potential future names of places and characters and cities and restaurants and such, anytime I have an inspiration or I hear a name that I like, and it's entirely possible, entirely probable even, that the name Hurricane Beach was on the list from who knows how long before. Hurricane Beach is everything that Bonfire Beach is not. Bonfire is stately and genteel and conservative, except for the housing situation, and classy and classic and the best of everything. Hurricane Beach is just fun. It's touristy and cheap hotels and condos and fast food chains and 1,000 other restaurants specializing in seafood and souvenir shops and public beaches and a miles-long boardwalk. It's for families and high school and college kids on spring break and anyone just looking to get away for a little while or a long while. As with any beach town or beach city, anything goes in Hurricane Beach. The people of Bonfire Beach look down on Hurricane as being cheap and tacky and common. The people of Hurricane Beach don't care what the people of Bonfire Beach think. Unlike Bonfire Beach, which started out way back when as a fishing village that was then discovered and steamrolled and taken over by wealthy northerners, Hurricane Beach's history is fairly straightforward and uncomplicated. It was developed organically over the years, beginning in the early 1900s by locals who loved the setting, loved the climate, and wanted to attract more and more people to the area. To quote from the movie Field of Dreams, "If you build it, they will come." A lot of businesses in Hurricane are family-owned and have been for generations. Most of the city is rather generic looking and could be any resort destination anywhere along the coast. Neighborhoods close to the shoreline are comprised mostly of bungalows for rent. Behind them are pleasant residential streets with well-kept homes, just like any neighborhood anywhere. Farthest from the ocean, on the very outskirts of Bonfire Beach, are shabbier-looking streets lined with shabbier-looking houses that are, for the most part, owned by out-of-state landlords and are rented cheap to the seasonal workers that come each spring and summer. The big draw is the Boardwalk. The Hurricane Beach Boardwalk was originally constructed in 1908, in part from boards salvaged from the King's Cardinal, which was a coastal cargo ship that sank during a storm just off the South Carolina coast in the early 1800s and was discovered in the 1940s. The city liked the idea of literally incorporating that kind of local history into the development of Hurricane Beach. Oh, excuse me, allergies. Today, 75 years later, the boardwalk stretches nearly 2 full miles. A few of the original shipboards remain here and there at the northern end of the boardwalk, which is where it originally began, and an urban legend states that the ghost of the King's Cardinal's captain tagged along with the boards when they were brought to Hurricane and has been spotted roaming the boardwalk. People say a short gentleman dressed in period naval clothing will wander from storefront to storefront, supposedly looking to see if the cargo his ship had been carrying has made it to shore and is on display. Today, the boardwalk is overseen by the Hurricane Beach Boardwalk Commission, which makes a point to host an enormous number of community events there. The original small amusement park area, back when the boardwalk was first established, now encompasses a good quarter of the boardwalk and includes a permanent stage. During the summer months, classic beach movies are shown there on Friday nights, free for everybody. The boardwalk is the site of holiday parades, 10K races, chili cook-offs, outdoor concerts, Halloween events such as trick-or-treating and haunted rides, and a huge New Year's Eve celebration, with the dropping of Hurricane Beach's own crystal ball at midnight. In terms of what attractions you can find on the boardwalk, it's pretty well split between nicer, newer, modern establishments like restaurants and indoor game places and movie theaters. And then there are darker, not as shiny, not as fancy kind of boardwalk storefronts that are what contribute to the whole beachfront atmosphere and make it the kind of magical place it is when you're a kid or even as an adult. I love the sense of continuity and days gone by that I get when I'm on boardwalks that look like they haven't changed in 50 years. Arcades with ancient games and crowded souvenir shops and hamburger and pizza stands and places where you can win stuffed animals or all kinds of trinkets. And all of it is right there on the sand. The Beached series focuses on Stacey Storm, a former reality TV psychic proven to be a fraud who has relocated to Bonfire Beach and moved into a mansion where a mass murder took place in order to stage his comeback. But Hurricane Beach plays a significant role in the story. Stacey's best friend and business partner, a man by the name of Derek Meehan, has relocated to South Carolina with him, but bought his own condo in Hurricane and is kind of starting to build his own life there, separate from Stacey and the comeback mission that is Stacey's sole focus. Their former production assistant named Max has also followed them south in order to help them. He lives in Hurricane's inland seasonal housing while he works at the boardwalk restaurant called the Hangry Tomato. Chelsea, the owner of Cafe Peach Street in Bonfire Beach, lives in Hurricane with her husband. Many families in Bonfire's community employ household help, and many of those employees come from Hurricane. So while Hurricane Beach is a separate entity from Bonfire, and while the series follows Stacey around as he goes about his life in Bonfire, Hurricane is essentially the flip side of that coin, and that's something that's going to come into play in future books in more ways than one. There are a lot of secrets in Bonfire Beach. There are a lot of unexplained things, for lack of a better word, in Bonfire Beach. And most, if not all of those secrets and explanations for those things can be found in Hurricane Beach. And there are 2 relevant boardwalk locations in particular that will become prominent in Book 3. One is a character I introduced in the second book of the series, Beached 102 Low Tide. Her name is Madame Swan, and she is a fortune teller on the boardwalk. If you go to my website, SherilynCorber.com, and go to the This Week in Bonfire Beach page, you'll see all kinds of advertisements for what's going on in Bonfire and Hurricane Beaches on any given week, and Madame Swan advertises there on a regular basis. I have dressed her as you would expect a stereotypical fortune teller to dress. She has the frilly blouse and the long skirt and the big gold hoop earrings and the turban around her head, and I have decorated her shop as you would expect a stereotypical fortune teller's parlor to look. Lots of velvet and crystal balls and candles. All of that is partly for fun, and it's also partly for disguise. Madame Swan is so cartoonish and comical that you can't really take her seriously, right? Maybe, but maybe not. The second is a new store that'll be opening on the boardwalk in Book 3. It's called The Mystic Mermaid, and it's owned by a woman named Cora. Fun fact, during the Beached 102 Low Tide launch party last fall, one of my giveaways was a chance to have a character named after you in the next book in the series, and the winner this time was a woman named Cora. When I assured her that I would make sure she was a nice character, she disagreed and said that she didn't want to be nice. So Cora of the Mystic Mermaid is not a nice person. She's someone you want to keep your eye on without necessarily understanding or knowing exactly why your instincts are telling you that you need to. So that's a sneak peek into book 3, and that hopefully gives you something to look forward to. It's also a good lead into book 3 and where I am in the process of producing it. I had a fantastic session with it earlier this week. If you look behind me at my plotting W, which after I posted last weekend's video, I realized that, yeah, it actually looks like 2 V's instead of a W. Hopefully you were able to figure out that the W is split in half and stacked one on top of the other. I don't have enough wall space to fit the entire thing, hopefully in the future. Anyway, the W has been cleared off. All of those little sticky notes that were there in the last video have been taken down. I have fit all of those notes into the plot, and the plot itself is 95% finished as of the recording of this video. I'm filming on Thursday, and if all goes well by the time you're watching this, that 95% has been upgraded to 100%. Even if it hasn't, though, I am ready to start writing. I've got enough figured out that I can start writing the first draft. I said last week that I hoped I wouldn't have to change any of what I already put in place because I really liked everything that I had. Unfortunately, some of it had to go. It was one of those situations where I really needed something to happen. And the way things were set out, I just couldn't make it work. But by cutting and rearranging, and in one case completely revitalizing, it was like a switch flipped. And that fast, everything came together like this big magic puzzle. So while I'm bummed that I had to let go of a few scenes that I'd really been looking forward to writing, it's worth it. Because plot-wise, I can tell that this is exactly how it needs to be. And it is just as good as what I'd been shooting for before, just a little bit different. So this book has finally taken shape. I can see what it's going to be as of right now, at least during the writing of Things Always Change, which I love. I get excited when that happens because it means the story is really coming to life and taking its own control over things. And I have that kind of anticipatory tingle goosebumps feeling I get when it's time to start writing. So maybe if I get enough done, I can read you a sneak peek snippet next week. Let's hope for that. Title-wise, I have it narrowed down to 2 contenders. I like them both. I think either one would work, but I'm going to hold off on choosing one until the writing is well underway because I know that that's when the right one becomes obvious as the story develops. So no title announcement just yet. I'm just going to let it choose itself because I know that it will. Otherwise, things are pretty quiet. There's still a couple weeks until my next paranormal investigation at Crescent Sanatorium in Crescent, Pennsylvania. This week, I've talked before about how I collect vintage young adult novels and series from the 80s. Over on the Sherilyn Corber Facebook page, on every date that ends in 8, I post a chapter summary from the Sunset High series by Linda A. Cooney. We're halfway through the first book in the series. I don't critique or anything like that. It's just for fun. On my own, I have started rereading one of my favorites from when I was a kid. This one here, if you can see it. There we go. Double Standards by Patsy Gray. It was published in 1983. I was a horse-crazy kid, and a lot of my favorite books from childhood had to do with horses. This one is obviously one of those. You can tell. If I can get the angle right, there you go. It's about a girl named Sis who has suddenly kind of been estranged from her family after learning that her dad was involved in a fraudulent scheme with his work. And she goes to spend the summer working on her uncle's ranch where she discovers a different kind of scheme going on and has to decide how she's going to deal with it. It's a coming-of-age type of story, I guess. And I've discovered that YA novels with this kind of theme read very differently when you're an adult and you're coming at it with a whole different frame of reference and experience than you had when you read it as a kid. Back then, I just enjoyed the horses and the, oh no, what will Sis do kind of aspect of the drama. But it's always fun and rather eye-opening to reread something like this now. I always learn something about how I might write differently to better make a point, depending on who I think might be reading my books. So I always learn something from it. So that brings us to giveaway time. And because I've had such success with mapping out book 3, and I am so excited to finally start writing again, along with the weekly Bonfire Beach decal that I give away every week. I still can't do things backward. I'm so sorry. This is what it looks like out on paper, so you can see what it looks like. This is what you actually get. I give this away every week. I will also be giving away as one giveaway package, book 1 and book 2. First 2 books in the Beach series, personalized and signed for the winner. If you would like to win the decal, Comment below and tell me when you vacation at the beach. What is your favorite type of beach shop or beach establishment to visit? Is it a type of restaurant? Is it something fun like Madame Swan's fortune-telling parlor? Comment down below and tell me. And if you would like to win the books, comment and tell me what your favorite book was when you were a kid. So to recap, for the decal, if I can show again here, to win this, what is your favorite kind of place to visit at the beach? To win the books, my hair is stuck to my lip gloss, to win the books, comment below what was your favorite book as a kid? Kind of relating back to one of my favorites. You may enter to win both, but you can only win one. Winners will be chosen at random. In your comment, please be sure to provide a way for me to get in touch with you should you win an email address, social media handle, whichever way you prefer, as long as it works. Entries must be posted by 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday, June 28th. And that is it for another week. The weekend has arrived. I hope you have a lot of fun things planned. I will be at the beach this weekend working on the book, which really isn't work for me. Creating in any form or fashion for me is not work. And I'm excited to get back to Bonfire Beach. I left it last October when I finished the second book. I am ready to get back into my imaginary world. I miss it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please take a second and click on the thumbs up button. I'll see you next Friday. Take care.